Hey guys, so today we are going to be talking about this new update that is just dropped on JP Dokkan 4.14.0, and there are some things that are sort of like out in the open at this point where they've announced the certain changes they've made, updates to the game, and then there's sort of like the other side of things where there's new files that they uploaded to the game's servers, but they're not technically supposed to be public. Obviously, we have data miners working, with the community to basically tell us what's going on. I was just in a Discord call with Hydros where he was looking through all the files and we were talking about what things could potentially mean for the game. We also have this Twitter by Markkinen, who is also a data miner for the game, so we're going to be taking a look through all his tweets. Again, shout out to Markkinen for being a really, really important pillar to the community for data mining purposes. But first things first, we're going to take a look at the actual update contents that they officially announced in-game. I don't have a JP Dokkan account right now, so I'm just going to let you guys know. I'm going to go through a screen recording that Hydra sent me, and we'll take a look at basically what they have listed here. It's not going to be anything too crazy, just very small changes. Like, for instance, the chain battle thing that happened was you can now like reverse awaken and Dokkan awakenings that you have set in chain battle. Previously, you could not do that, so that's one of the changes that they made. Something else that they made. One of the bigger things is the giant transformations in the game. They are now more so treated as transformations, traditional transformations. And what I mean by that is when you go to the top of the character, there is a transformation. I guess technically it's called Giant Form Information tab, and it's literally the same thing as the traditional transformation tab. It's just for giant transformations. And they also changed the wording of all of the transformation conditions, or not conditions, but like wording of the passive. So for instance, for somebody like Grade 8 Bardock, it'll say, when conditions are met, transform into a Grade 8. It won't say exactly what the conditions are because the conditions are separately listed in that other tab I just mentioned. Other than that, there really isn't a lot to go off of from there. They just sort of changed how it's displayed on the card itself. Next, we have the popping up of a Dokkan Fest exclusive icon whenever you pull a Dokkan Fest exclusive unit from a banner. That is very similar right now to how LR icon pops up in when you summon an LR in Dokkan, except now they're also going to have that for Dokkan Fest exclusives as well. As of right now, I don't know how it's going to work if you pull a Dokkan Fest exclusive unit. If both icons are going to pop up, it's going to be one after another. We'll have to see. But that's pretty good for newer players because now they're going to know if you pull like a Dokkan Fest exclusive, oh, this guy's going to be really good, so I should hold on to this guy, right? Next, we have some changes to how missions are displayed on the mission tab. I believe instead of showing the percentage of completion, now it shows you exactly how many of certain things you've done. So for instance, you have to kill 100 enemies, it'll now say, instead of well, I guess it's not a good example because it would just be the same number. Let's say it tells you to kill 1,000 enemies, right? Instead of telling you you're like, 10% of the way done, it'll tell you exactly how many enemies out of 1,000 you have killed so far. So it just makes it easier to understand, which is good. And other than that, they just fixed a lot of bugs in the game, which nothing really too major to talk about here. Just, random bugs that they just deleted and fixed. So that is pretty much all the stuff that they announced publicly. Now we're going to go ahead and take a look at the Twitter account of, again, Markkinen, one of the more premier data miners of the community. He's very, very good. So we're just going to go through this his Twitter, and we'll take a look at everything that he has on here right now. The first thing is that you can now link a Bandai Namco ID to the game, which I don't know if this is going to be applicable to many people that are in our global community, because as far as I'm aware, the Bandai Namco ID is limited to Japan only. I remember specifically when I was playing Buchigiri Match, this is the ID that you would link to your Buchigiri Match account, which was a JP only game. So I don't know if this is really super important, but with safety net and everything going on, they want to make sure that they have this covered as well. So that's one of the things that we have here. Next up, there is some stuff about joint missions going on, and I believe there were some other posts about assets in the game that look almost identical to the missions that we had for the worldwide download celebration. The like sort of like JP and global cooperative missions, stuff like that. Like we see here, joint campaign, cooperative missions, match missions, team missions. I don't know if team missions were a part of that. I know for sure match missions and cooperative missions were. I'm not sure what private missions are, but for sure these two were. And that, to me, is sort of indicative of them possibly teasing, or not teasing because this is not supposed to be public yet, of them, making setting the grounds for another combined celebration for JP and Global. I saw some people maybe speculating that this could be for New Year's. Maybe for New Year's we will be getting a combined celebration, which kind of makes sense if you consider what's going on Global right now. Like, we have a Dokkan Fest LR dropping, right? We have Goku and Vegeta, Blue Goku and Vegeta dropping on Global. This celebration is bad. And to link a Dokkan Fest LR to a very bad celebration like this, it just doesn't feel right. So I think the idea of like a combined New Year's celebration for Global and JP, where they have like the cooperative missions, match missions, stuff like that, it could be very hype time for the game. So I think I do like that idea. Another theory behind that is maybe during the anniversary, you know how like they did the, I think it was during the 4-year, maybe it was both 4 and 5, 5th year, but I know for sure during the 4-year, they had that little campaign against Omega Shenron where they're like, oh yeah, like the global version, help out the JP version who's up against Omega Shenron or whatever, and like you would actually like, consume stamina and you'd help the JP version. Maybe instead of being sort of like more of a passive thing, it becomes more of an active thing for like the global campaign or the global players to help out the JP players at the same time, even though global doesn't celebrate that anniversary at the same time. I don't know, maybe that's just looking into it too much, but that's basically what we have here for cooperative missions. Next we have like this character stack thing. I don't know what this is. Some speculations about this is maybe like in your box, if you have the same character, maybe they'll stack on top of each other to not use as much box space, or I don't know how that would work. Next we have, this is one of the big things, revival skills. Okay, so here we go. New type of skill, revival skills, and can be revived if conditions are met. Yeah, this wording right here is the exact same wording that that transformations have in passives. So when conditions are met, you can revive. That's literally what it says. That seems like, to me, when I read that, if you guys play Dragon Ball Legends, it sounds to me like it might be something that has to do with something along the lines of Red Cell, the new Red Cell, the revival cell. What he does in Dragon Ball Legends is if he dies, he revives, and his transformation conditions are basically you die, and then he comes back as a much stronger version of himself. And at this point, we pretty much know for sure that LRUI Goku, the Mastered Ultra Instinct, is coming to JP Dokkan for the 6th-year anniversary, based off of leaks that we've seen for figures. But there are some people who are speculating that this could be something they introduce in the 6th-year anniversary for that Goku, who maybe starts out as a blue, Super Saiyan Blue Goku, and then he gets, his Spirit Bomb comes back at him, he gets like blown up by the Spirit Bomb, he transforms into UI Goku from there, and maybe then goes into mastered form from there. So I don't really know what to expect from the resurrection mechanic, or if this is even going to be a new thing, rival skill. Something else interesting to note about this as well is I saw another post saying that the revival skills have a slot on the scouter where you can preview them. So what that tells me is we have, so currently in the game we have active skills. I'm thinking revival skills are going to be something that is completely separate from active skills, and it's just going to be a new mechanic. So, we got active skills for the 4-year anniversary. Maybe 6-year anniversary is revival skills. The only question that I have about this is, if you have a team of like 6 units that all have revival skills, are you going to be able to revive 6 times? Like, can you imagine? You just can't die. What I think they're probably going to have to do, if this pans out how I think it will, they'll probably need to set a cap, like, oh, you can only you can only trigger a revival skill maybe like once per fight or something, because if you can just unlimited amount of times do this, you just can't lose, and that's just ridiculous. Because this talk about broken mechanics, this is like, yeah, if it works how I think it's going to work, this is like the most broken mechanic in the game, like easily. But keep your eyes on this. I don't think this is going to be something that they drop for New Year's. I think this is more so a 6th-year anniversary thing, and it looks to me like this could be one of the bigger, new mechanics introduced for the 6th year. He even said, I didn't even read this. He says this. Yeah, I'll drop my crazy tinfoil conspiracy that 6th anniversary could be Goku. That if he dies with Super, it could become UI. Yeah, that does seem likely to me. Just more joint mission stuff over here. This is the icon for the Dokkan Fest exclusive unit popping up when you summon them. Okay, this is interesting as well. This, so this says passive skill. He says this says passive skill buildup. This wording passive skill Kyoka, which means like strengthening of passive skill. There's a few different ways you can sort of interpret this. This is, I guess, maybe, I don't want to say link level update for passive skills, but that would be something that comes to mind when I see this phrase. Keep in mind, when you do an Easy A, this is literally the same exact phrasing that comes up when you Dokkan Awaken, or not Dokkan Awaken, but just awaken a unit to, I think it's level 140, because at level 140, that's when you upgrade the passive skill of a unit. And when you do that, this is pretty much the exact same wording that comes up when you do that. So literally, this just means like strengthening of passive. So what this could potentially mean for, you know, anything new that we could see in the future, I'm not sure. Do I think it's going to be a link level update for passives? No, because that would be ridiculous. But it's, at the very least, maybe like a new thing that they're putting in for like Easy A's where it's just changing the font or something small like that. But this is interesting to keep your eye on. Again, we don't know what this is yet. And then there's some new assets over here. I don't know what... These things up here aren't really too important, I don't think. But what I'm looking at are these mission medals. I don't really know what these are for. But... looks interesting. I guess we'll see if they're actually used, because as far as I'm aware, there's actually a bunch of assets in the game's files that were never used that are interesting like this, but we'll see if they make use of those at some point. We took a look at this already. Yep. And there's currently a bug going on with the mission tab, which means that there's probably going to be an emergency maintenance at some point for Dokkan, because you currently can't accept missions. And they're showing old missions that are already completed, so it's weird. But, okay, that's everything that we have from Markinen. The other thing I do want to mention really quick is that Hydros did send me a DM on Twitter showing that there is a file that has the wording for visual change details. And I don't know what that is for. I'm assuming that has something to do with you being able to physically change the appearance of a card in the game. If I had to guess on what that would be, I would probably say it's more likely than not going to be associated with the stickers. Like for instance, maybe this is finally the time that we get alternative art in the game, and one of the conditions to actually use the alternative art is to have a sticker on that character. But I mean, we have no idea what that means right now. That is a brand new file that was in the game. It's called Visual Change Details. Visual Change Details. So again, I don't know what that means. It could be nothing at all, but it could be interesting, something that we haven't seen yet. But that's pretty much everything that we have in this update. So again, I think the biggest thing to take away from this is the revival skills, because again, that screams 6-year anniversary to me. The second biggest thing to take away is probably the visual change thing, because that also seems like it's something that they're building up to. And then third is this. Again, I don't really know if this is going to be anything significant, but just keep that in the back of your mind. But other than that, I mean, we could also be seeing, again, a joint celebration for sometime soon, maybe New Year's. But it'll be interesting to see if they do this. That is pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know down below what you guys think about all this stuff that's coming out. Dokkan is entering the end of the year, which is generally a more hype time for the game. So, hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next one.